Hey everyone, welcome back. Psychopath1c here. Um, if you're wondering why the door is to the right, you're probably not wondering. But if you're wondering why the door is to my left, it's because I'm recording this on my computer, my laptop webcam. I'm not recording it through YouTube. So yeah, it's gonna be looking backwards. Um, I've been wanting to review this movie for quite a long time. Ever since I've known about YouTube, and I wanted to review it when I first got a webcam. Uh, Long ago, back in 2010. Oh, doesn't feel like 4 years. But anyways, uh, this film I hold really near and dear to my heart. The remake's okay. Uh, the beginning is all right. Texas Chainsaw 3D sucks. Um, Next Generation can eat a bowl of fuck. Um, the third one I've never seen. The second one absolutely amazing. Just everything about it is awesome. I find nothing wrong with the second one, and that is the true sequel to the first movie. I don't care what anybody says when it comes to saying, oh, it's not really a sequel. It's a sequel. If Next Generation is a sequel, then why not have Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 as a sequel? So, yeah. Anyways, I'm going to be talking about the first one, the one that came out in 1974. This is the 40th anniversary edition. I've got a bonus disc with it, disc 2. Uh, my uncle got this on Blu-ray. It came with 4 discs. Uh, Disc 1 being the movie for the Blu-ray. Disc 2 being the bonus disc for the Blu-ray. Disc 3, which would be Disc 1, it says Disc 1, would be the movie for the DVD, and the Disc 2 or Disc 4 would be the second disc for the DVD, the bonus disc. Uh, it was cool looking at some of the special features on this thing. I'll talk a little bit about the DVD. It was cool looking at some of the special features. I learned stuff that I didn't know before. Like how they had to use some uh, real pig guts. Like some of the decaying bodies, they're not real decaying bodies, of course, but uh, they're slathered in both fake blood and pig blood. So I thought that was pretty cool. I think it's on this DVD. It might be on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Revisited or Redux or Revived. I forget the name of it. It's a really cool documentary on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the real Ed Gein, and the movie itself. So yeah. Anyways, uh, what this film is basically about, um, you've got this cast of characters played by Marilyn Burns, who plays Sally. Uh, then you've got Pam, I think is her name. You've got Kirk, you've got Jerry, and you've got Franklin. I think it's Jerry. I know for a fact there's Franklin and Sally, but I forget the other 3 names. Well, Kirk. I know 3 out of the 5 people's names, so forgive me. Uh, they go by pretty quick. The the pace for this film, love it. It goes by at a quick pace. It doesn't let up when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, gruesome stuff. And this isn't a very gory film, so don't go into this expecting tons and tons of gore. Most of the gore you'll see is at the beginning when you see the decaying body, and when the hitchhiker cuts his hand open. But we don't see the cut, we don't see the penetration of the knife, we just see blood. This is rated R, but by today's standards, it would be about a really easy, tame R. But I can see why this is R on an account of the subject matter and the overall tone of this movie. Like, if they were to make this PG-13, they would have ruined it. And that's originally what Tobe Hooper wanted. He wanted a PG-13 rating, which I think would be a weird thing to do. But these group of characters are going across Texas to go to a funeral, and they end up smack dab in the middle of an unknown town, and they meet, I think his name is Max von Sydow, or Jim Sydow. He plays the cook, Drayton Sawyer. You've got the hitchhiker. Some people call him the early version of Chop Top, which in a way he kind of is. He's really over the top. He tries to create like the funniness for the movie. The disgusting type of funny, not the whoa, oh, so fun. But anyways, this movie is great. So they're driving across Texas, and they pick up a hitchhiker. And you already know something's up with this guy. He's digging through his bag, and Franklin's talking about how is it at a slaughterhouse. Like, he talks about they use sledgehammers. They used to use sledgehammers. And the hitchhiker's like, oh yeah, they use sledgehammers. It's a great way to get them nice and good. And I'm just like, oh. Even back then, it was still twisted. So, yeah. They end up knocking him out of the car, van, because he tries to start a fire. First, he cuts Franklin in the arm with Franklin's knife, which Franklin uses to pick his fingernails, and cuts him with a knife. We don't see a scar or anything, we just see the blood. And this is one of the most famous Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies ever made, because, of course, because of the time it came out, what subject matter it was, the fact that it went where no film had gone before, and some people call this the first real snuff film. I don't see why it's called a snuff film, because nobody really dies in it, but back in the time it came out, people thought it was a snuff film. But nah, I've never seen a snuff film, and I don't want to. So yeah. Anyways, sorry I say anyways a lot, but they end up heading to a gas station to get some gas after the hitchhiker gets kicked out of their van. And Pam is talking about the astronomy and the zodiac signs, what the zodiac signs would mean for each person, like a Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn. Uh, and they end up stopping at a gas station to get some gas. But the gas station attendant says, "Oh, we have no gas. The delivery truck for the gas hasn't come yet. Won't be here until maybe the afternoon or even nighttime." And this is Jim's side out, or Max Bon's side out. I'm not sure which one. I think it might be Jim's side out. But he tells them, "Well, you can just go wherever you need to go, and I'll tell you. I'll come by and tell you when the gas comes over." And so they all go to their dead grandpa's house and hang out. Just hang out. And Kirk and Pam decide to go swimming because there happens to be a not a swimming pool, like a lake near the grandpa's house. Franklin tells them where to go. They end up going to the lake, but it's all dried up. So Kirk and Pam not gonna get any swimming action. So they decide to go back, but before they do, they end up seeing lights, and it turns out to be a house. They walk up to the house, ask for gas, nobody answers. Kurt goes inside, doesn't come out. Then Pam goes inside, doesn't come out. So it does the knocking off people one by one in a great way. And the infamous hook scene, where the girl gets the hook put into her back, we never see the penetration. We never see the penetration of the hook going into the skin. We just see the girl get lifted up, then we see her hanging on the chain. Leatherface is brutal in this. He's brutal in the second one. I don't know about the third one. And they seriously need to stop with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboots. We're getting a third reboot. No, fourth, because the supposed real sequel, Texas Chainsaw 3D, can eat a dog dick. That was the third reboot. Nope, it's the second reboot, because the 2003 remake, then the sequel to the 2003 remake, or prequel, then Texas Chainsaw 3D, and now we're getting something called Leatherface. It's supposed to take place when Leatherface is a teenager. What the fuck? I don't care about Leatherface as a teenager. I don't care. Leatherface is a serial killer. Plain and simple. We don't need a backstory for him. We know he's a cannibal. We know that he's a disgusting human being. But we don't need to see his past. We don't need to care for Leatherface. He's brutal. I would not want to meet Leatherface if he were real. And I know people are going to say Ed Gein, but Ed Gein's been dead for years. So, yeah. So, just after Pam and Kurt get knocked off, I'm not going to say how Kirk or Pam get knocked off because people have already seen the trailers, and the trailer spoils some of the kills. So you've got that. Then the world famous, the infamous ending. How can you not talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, without talking about the amazing ending? You've got Grandpa. Uh, I thought he was dead when I first saw this movie, but nope, he's alive, and he's just sitting there. Looks kind of like a zombie or just a rotting corpse, but he's alive. And the hitchhiker is trying to give Grandpa Sawyer the sledgehammer so he can beat Sally's head in and knock her out, but doesn't work because he keeps dropping the hammer. And then finally they get a good punch into her head. Now that's the only time you really get to see penetration uh, with a weapon, which it doesn't knock her out, but she's bleeding and everything. So I appreciate the realism, like the small realism, but you'd be knocked out cold from a sledgehammer to the head. Uh, I I think so, but it's a movie, so yeah. Uh, and pretty much, uh, the ending follows a great. You think you could call it a sequel bait ending, or you can just call it a bittersweet ending. She gets so damn lucky. She runs right through the glass window. I'm spoiling the ending, folks, but if you've seen the Boogeyman DVD or you've seen World's Top 100 Greatest Horror Movie Moments, there's a list. I think that's what it's called. 100 Greatest Horror Movie Moments. This ending is one of those parts. One of those on that list somewhere. But anyways, she jumps out the window, screaming, blood all over her face. She's running and running and running, running right in the middle of the road. Semi-truck's coming and almost hits her. Stops. She gets in. Leatherface ends up coming, and the truck driver ends up grabbing a little sledgehammer, throws it into Leatherface's head. Well, not into his head, but at his head. Hits him. Chainsaw goes right into the leg, and then Leatherface starts running and running after, kind of limping because of the cut on his leg, chainsaw to the leg, pretty bad. So Sally keeps on running, gets into the back of a truck, and gets driven away. And she's just so happy. She's excited. She's like, I might not have beaten you. She doesn't say that. She's just laughing hysterically. But she's so happy that she was damn lucky to get away from Leatherface. And then Leatherface does this dance. Pretty much his dance of defeat. That's what I call it. He's swinging his chainsaw and just going all around and around in the circle. And then credits. And I just love this movie. What do I give it? I give it a 9 out of 10. Why it doesn't get a 10 out of 10? Some parts were a little slow, but it went by at a quick pace. Definitely pick this up. Pick up the 40th anniversary edition or the platinum edition, which has like the gold case that's reflective and everything. There's a lot of good editions of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974. My sister hates this movie on an account of she's saying, all I heard in that movie was screaming. Nuh-uh. You don't hear just screaming in this entire movie. The last 15 minutes you hear a lot of screaming, but wouldn't you be screaming too if you were in the same predicament as Marilyn Burns? Wow. But it's her opinion, and everybody has a different opinion, but I personally enjoyed this movie. I thought it got everything right. It's a nail in the head of the horror franchise in a good way. It was the nail in the door that creaked it open. Then Halloween came out, creaked it open a little bit more. And Friday the 13th kicked it in and didn't even bother closing it back up. And that, my friends, is how the horror franchise is. The slasher genre was made. Some people might say Psycho was the start of it, but I consider Texas Chainsaw Massacre the very first one. But the modern slasher would be Friday the 13th. So, anyways, that's my review over Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974. Hopefully you all enjoyed this review. What more can I say? 9 out of 10. Leatherface is the shit. Even though I do not care to know his origins. I liked Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. Yeah, I enjoyed it as a fun popcorn flick. But it's not the greatest movie. And Leatherface doesn't need a prequel, folks. We already know about Leatherface from the start. We know he's a serial killer, he wants blood, and he gets it. In the second one, we get to see even more of Leatherface. We learn that he does have emotions. He likes his food. But he wants himself a little bit of Carolyn Williams. In the third one, I heard he freaking has a daughter. So, yeah. Leatherface, we already know all about Leatherface. We don't need a freaking teenage version of Leatherface. I can imagine now Justin Bieber holding a fake mask on, carrying around a chainsaw. It would be ridiculous, folks. Hopefully the director doesn't pick Justin Bieber. Oh, Lord, no. If the only way I can see the teenage Leatherface working is if they made him like 19 years old. He picks up a chainsaw, just doesn't put it down, and starts not terrorizing, but killing whoever comes in his way, eating them alive. Not eating them alive, but ripping off their face, and that begins his love and obsession of finding skin over his skin. But that's me. I know it's a stupid idea, but hey, it would be stupid but entertaining. But they should just let the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series die. They should leave it alone. We got 1, 2 and 1 are probably the best out of the entire Texas Chainsaw franchise. I still haven't seen 3, but I heard a lot of good things about it, and I heard Ken Foray is in it, and I love myself some Ken Foray. Dawn of the Dead. Anybody? Dawn of the Dead? Badass black dude? And Ken Foray, I heard, doesn't even die in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D. 3? Oh, Lord. I accidentally said 3D. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Leatherface. Texas Chainsaw 3D, again, I hate it. Then we have Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next generation, that one can suck a dick just as much as 3D. I understand Leatherface is supposed to be kind of a cross-dresser, just in the face though, not in the body. I know Ed Gein wanted to be a woman, but he didn't want to go through the sex change operation. That's why he ripped off all of the skin and wore it. So, anyways, that's my review over Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1975. Pick it up if you're at least the least bit interested. Uh, it's got good acting. It's got great characters, especially Sally Hardesty, played by Marilyn Burns. It's got a great villain, or villains, because Leatherface has a family of males. He's got a brother, the hitchhiker. He's got a father, Jim Sydow, or Max von Sydow, I forget which one. And he's got a grandpa. So, a family of four, that's all you need in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. And Leatherface, I love you, man, but I don't care about your origins. I just don't. So, anyways, that's my review over Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974. This is Psychopath1c, signing off.